Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, continuing along on a really nice Saturday afternoon stakes card at Woodbine with race number 8. Let's throw up the field for the Grade 3 $150,000 Dominion Day Stakes. We're going a mile and an eighth. There are some nice older horses in this race, including your morning line favorite Tyson, who won the Dominion Day last year and actually went on to run third in the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
Yeah, ran huge in this race last year, Dan, with a triple-digit buyer speed figure winning for fun. We'll see. He was off the layoff last time. He came away second best as the favorite to Palazzi, who's also back in here. This is a really good field overall, but I think they got the right favorite.
And we'll see how the pace plays out as they stretch out to a mile and an eighth. Of course, the Eclipse at a mile and a 16th. And Paramount Prince, who ran a pretty good third in the Eclipse, well, that horse is expected to make the lead in here. Tyson is a very tactical sort. He can sit just off the pace. Stanley House is a horse that has shown some tactical speed in the past. I thought he ran well in his first start back in a second level allowance. Maybe he could work out a trip.
Yeah, I can see that happening for sure. I won't really argue with this pace projector too hard at all. I can see the race playing out this way.
Let's start off the number 1, Palazzi. This is a horse who did beat several of these last time out in the Eclipse. I thought beat him on the square. He settled at the back of the pack, came around everybody, and outgamed him. Tyson had a shot in between horses, got the jump on him. Palazzi was better on that day. He's always been a very solid horse on synth and turf, needs the right pace setup, needs the right trip. He's going to run well again, I have a feeling.
I agree. He always runs well. He's a really good horse. I'm a big fan of his. He always shows up and runs. The running style, again, it's problematic because he's going to have to sit back and hope that there's something for him to run at. And he's also going to have to hope that a horse like Tyson, who can be more tactical, doesn't get a big jump on him this time in this race. Then this horse is good. He can win right back. It's your call how short a price you want to take on him this time. He was over 6-1 last time.
Number 2 is Wicked Django. This horse is stepping up into the stakes ranks for the first time, but I guess he deserves the opportunity. He's won 2 of his last 3, including this effort earlier in the month against non-winners of 2 life allowance foes. And Wicked Django is just going to collar this horse on the lead and go about his business to a likable score. Only an 82 buyer speed figure, but it is a career best for this horse. And as a lightly raced 4-year-old, we can still project improvement.
Yeah, good effort here. First off the layoff, another slight forward move for him. It's a really nice performance. Then I think this horse is pretty good, and he does have a chance to be all right down the line. This is going to be a stakes debut in a really, really tough spot. He's just going to have to take a big step.
Although the number 3 Collective Force is only 1 for 19 lifetime in his career, he's a horse that's earned a couple of graded stakes placings and has a few figures that would make him competitive. Last time out, they ran him in a first level allowance off the layoff, which is probably the right spot. Maybe he needed the race. Now they're stepping him back up in class. I wonder if he's better at slightly longer distances.
I kind of looked at him that way too. I feel like maybe his real advantage in graded stakes races is when they go longer distances with him because he seems to really like that. He's also more of a closing type, Dan, and he's not the best closer in this field.
Stanley House to me is kind of an interesting sleeper. This horse had some trouble last year, went third in the King's Plate, and then they went on with him in some tough races. He was given some time off, and in his first start off with a layoff, second level allowance, he was pretty game. Let's watch Stanley House get the job done last month. Here's Stanley House on the outside, assuming command, and maybe he's feeling the effects of the layoff late in the game, but he still holds sway. Solid enough buyer speed figure, a good building block effort.
I agree with all that. I thought he ran fine in here. He's going to get a little desperate late, but he's going to dig in. He's going to hold on. A good starting off point for this horse he was a good 3-year-old, man, maybe a little bit underrated too. We'll see. He's another one. We'll see how much he can improve because he's got to improve, but I think there's a chance he can do it. He's interested in here at a price.
Skyro finished 6th in the Eclipse behind Palazzi and Tyson and Paramount Prince. Didn't get away to the greatest start in that race. Maybe had a little bit of traffic issues. I do think he needs to do slightly better, but he does have races on the go back, especially on turf and synth that make him tough.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see if he can find one of those the faster races that he was running over the winter on the surface down at Gulfstream Park because I think he had enough excuses. If you liked him going into the Eclipse last time and he was 5-2 in that race, if you liked him in there, he had enough excuses to try to bet him back in this spot.
In many ways, one of the keys to this race is Paramount Prince, who went gate to wire in the King's Plate last year, was denied the lead in the Eclipse last time out, and still ran well to be third. He is projected to make the lead in here. And if he gets to the lead and is able to relax, I won't be surprised if he runs back to that King's Plate. I think he's pretty talented.
I agree. Listen, and sometimes pace just makes the race, right? If he gets loose on the lead in here, he could just be really tough. I suspect Tyson's going to be a little bit closer this time, but we'll see how it all plays out. He was a good 3-year-old. He obviously deserves the chance to get even better now as a 4-year-old. I just kind of looked at him, Dan, of all the horses that need to improve to win here, assuming the two favorites show up with their good race. He's going to be the shortest price of them, and I'm not sure that he's that much better than some of those other horses.
It will be the Woodbine debut for the number 7 Quadra Island, and I think he's getting back to his best surface, which is the all-weather. I thought he looked pretty good winning that second level allowance in his final start of 2023, but he has to prove to me that he's a graded stakes kind of horse.
Yeah, he's got a lot to prove in here. I'm with you though, and just going back to the last time he was on the all-weather surface and sort of liking the form that he was in then, and his last two starts are on turf and dirt, and maybe that's just not what this horse wants to do.
I love that Josie Carroll tested Tyson after rolling through the Dominion Day in the Seagram Cup last year. They ran him in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. They ran him in the Woodward, completely unfamiliar surfaces, running on dirt. And he held his own in both of those races. Maybe the autumn was one start too many when they returned back to Woodbine after those tough efforts. But Josie gave this horse a break. He ran just fine in the Eclipse, although he didn't change leads in the stretch.
Yeah.
But I'm expecting a good tactical trip. I think he can get more forward.
Yeah, me too. I think there could be a different trip for him this time, and it did kind of look like maybe he needed that start off the layoff there because he was in the mix. He had certainly had a chance to win it, but he wouldn't change his lead. And he didn't. I would say he didn't get the clean trip that Palazzi got from off the pace. There, we'll see. I don't want to make too many excuses for him because he'll be the favorite again. But I think this horse is good, and I expect he's going to run better this time.
And completing the field is the number 9, Jim's Hope. This horse is a stakes winner against fellow Ontario breds, and he made his seasonal debut at a now winners of 3 life open allowance, the race we're going to show you right now. And Jim's Hope was the favorite in this race. He didn't get off to a great start. He's far behind early. He makes a little bit of a run to finish third. He can build off this effort as this start on Saturday will be a second start of the form cycle, but he's facing tougher competition.
In the same boat as a few other horses in this race, there, where he's just going to need a lifetime best if he's going to win here. I didn't see a huge excuse for him in here, but maybe he just needed it off the layoff.
We're going to take a look at our top selections for the Dominion Day Stakes. And Mike, I think we're in agreement in here. I think if Tyson runs back to some of his big performances last year over this surface, he's going to be tough. And who knows? Maybe we'll see him back at the Spa.
I am going to give him a chance here to just take a little bit of a step forward, second back. I think his good race is maybe too good for these horses, Dan. I have him on top. I want to get Stanley House in there somewhere, the 4. I think that horse is a little underrated.
I'm curious to see what Paramount Prince can do if he can control this race and dig in the stretch as he did in the King's Plate. But like you, I think Tyson might have the knockout punch in the Dominion Day on Saturday. Best of luck.